Right, hello, thank you. I am Rachel Webster, the Curator of Botany here at the Manchester Museum. So I'm here today to talk to you a bit about our Reading Nature's Library project. So what was our problem? Well, we have here in the museum a collection of 4.5 million objects, and our purpose is really to get people in using these things. There's no real point to having a collection if no one's coming along and using it. So we have, it's fair to say, some better bits of data about our collection and some sort of, well, frankly, rubbish bits of data about our collection. So if we were to look at trying to improve the data on the entire museum's collection, it would probably take us centuries to get all of that work done. We're also an organisation that really values our volunteer help that comes in, and we get a huge amount of interest in people wanting to come and volunteer, far more than we could ever hope to house in this building and to look after with our current staffing levels. So we would also really like to be able to open up our volunteer offer to more people, so to those who can't give up the time commitment to be coming in every Tuesday for an entire day, or for those who are not always going to be in Manchester, just dropping through, those who are interested but can't come and actually be with us. So we decided to start looking at options for online crowdsourcing as a way of kind of marrying those two things together, perhaps, to help us with our data and to allow more people to engage with our collections in a different way. So the first thing we did, here's my object from the collection. So what we decided to do first off was to start with the fossil collection. So we've got about 200,000 fossils, and only about half of them have records that are really worth talking about. And to have a nice little subset of that, they decided to start working on the fossil corals. So the first thing to do then was to design the kind of workflow of the practical curatorial work to do with this. So you have your object, and you want the people to go online and see your beautiful thing, but also you want them to be able to get the data off. So we developed this system where we could get going to struggle to hold all of this, to get the fossil in line with the labels, to be able to take one sensible photograph, which meant that people could see the beautiful thing and see clearly enough to record the data of it. So we didn't spend too much time, to be honest, worrying about the quality of the photograph, the resolution that people were going to get, because we felt that was really going to be a stumbling block if we were worrying too much about that. We just wanted sufficient detail to be able to read the label, so a kind of standard SLR camera does it for us. And we set up a workflow where some of the volunteers who come into the museum could be then taking these photographs and going through collecting what is now thousands and thousands of images. So we have no experience in this kind of online work, so we started a collaboration with the computer scientists here at the university. So we had a master's student who developed this Reading Nature's Library website. So for us, it gave us an opportunity to test out how this might work for us, and for them, they were doing some research into how people participate online, what motivates them to do it. So there was a master's student who created this and was looking to see how people responded to the kind of electronic rewards you could be giving them, the well-dones and the gold stars, versus the kind of people who like to sign up. So you had a category of secret scientists versus those who give all their details and get all the gold stars. And I think it worked really well for them. They got a publication out of it. Apparently we all like to be secret scientists and not to tell people too much about ourselves online. So after that then, there was a bit of a lull. Then we had a second master's student come on and redeveloped the website again, and this time, because it had to be another research question, because it's a master's student has to have a new specific project to be working on, this then was looking not only at just transcribing the information off the label, but trying to get the participants to get a bit more involved. So write down it and then to draw it on a map, and perhaps to say whether they could see any kind of pattern developing. Oh look, fossils from this date seem to be mainly collected from this area. So they were doing a bit of exploration of the data set as well. And I think that project probably was a little bit less successful. So people liked the more kind of low input adding of data and less of the kind of doing a little bit of analysis of it. So the interesting thing for us now is that we've kind of dipped our toes in this water. We ended up with something like 300 additional online volunteers doing this work for us. But we want it to be a bit more sustainable for the museum. So we'd like to move on from fossils and to go off into some new collection areas. So myself and my colleague Lindsay have been taking photographs of microscope slides, for example, that we want to start dealing with, because we have about 10,000 that we have no idea what's on them. But if we're just using the students who change every year and we have no knowledge of how the website works, we need to shift that onto something which will work for us in the longer term. So my colleague Kate has been doing a lot of work looking at the Zooniverse platform and to see how that could work, how we could transfer this to become somewhat like the notes from nature, recording the data onto that. So we're nearly at the point where that will be ready, and we're quite excited about that. So our ambition really is to take what we've got with all these the fossil corals, move out into more of the collection areas for the museum, to move up from having kind of hundreds of online volunteers, perhaps to have thousands of people who've flirted with the museum collections. And so for us, one of the main things that we're hoping for from this project is not just to get the data back, which is probably a bit cleaner than our own that we've got on our own database, but also to have raised the profile of the museum so that there's more people out there who are engaging with the museum's collections all the way around the world. So watch this space, we're quite hopeful.